That was quick, right? I am back. Let's go ahead and finish off Surah 19, 20, and 21 right now. How exciting. And remember, I said keep your hearts and ears open to a theme in this. And I will also go ahead and point it out just because it's repetitive, much like a lot of the themes. It's kind of nice. The Quran has a few solid themes that it sticks to, and it actually distinguishes from the Bible in this theme that I will be pointing out, and I feel like it's a big point. But let's go ahead and start Surah 19, which is Miriam or Mary, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. And the book opens with Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sa, which I had to look these up, but they are letters in Arabic. Kaf is a letter, Ha is a letter, Ya, Ain, and Sad are all different letters. And it's said to say that it describes a name of Allah, one of Allah's names, but then there's another description that says no one knows the meaning of these letters besides Allah. So that is different and unique, much like Alif Lam Ra. So let's go ahead and continue. This is a recital of the mercy of thy Lord to his servant Zechariah, praying, O my Lord, infirm indeed are my bones, and the hair of my head doth glisten with grey, but never am I unblessed, O my Lord, in my prayer to thee. His prayer was answered. O Zechariah, we give thee good news of a son. His name shall be Yahya. And on none by that name we have confirmed or conferred distinction before. Zechariah said, O my Lord, give me a sign. Thy sign, was the answer. Shall be that thou shalt speak to no man for 3 nights, although thou art not dumb. So Zechariah came out to his people from his chamber. He told them by signs to celebrate Allah's praises in the morning and in the evening. And how clever is that little expert? Zechariah said, "Give me a sign," and then the Lord answers, "Thy sign was the answer." So he would have to sign and motion to his consorts what the case was, because he cannot speak for 3 days. So peace on him the day he was born, that the day that he dies, and the day that he will be raised up to life again. Relate in the book the story of Mary, when she withdrew from her family to a place in the east. She said, How shall I have a son, seeing that no man hath touched me, and I am not unchaste? He said, and this is the angel that spoke this, So it will be, thy Lord saith, that is easy for me, and that we wish to appoint him as a sign unto men and a mercy from us. It is a matter so decreed. And the pains of childbirth drove her to the trunk of the palm trees. She cried in her anguish, Ah, would that I had died before this! I would have been a thing forgotten and out of sight. But a voice cried out to her from beneath the palm tree, Grieve not, for the Lord had provided a rivulet between thee. And shake towards thyself the trunk of the palm tree. It will let fall fresh ripe dates upon thee. So eat and drink and cool thine eye. And if doth say any human, say, I have vowed the first two. Hold on. Let me go ahead and check something real quick. I'm sorry. Let me take a pause and correct this little part. But anywho's, yes, this is a story of Mary that we don't really hear about a lot. Her shaking a palm tree to eat the dates. She was in a lot of pain during these periods of contractions or what have you, with the coming of her son. So let's go back to 26. And 26, so eat and drink with I have vowed a fast. I have vowed a fast to Allah most gracious. Okay, I have vowed a fast to Allah most gracious. Let me just go ahead and paste that back in my document. Okay. And this day I will enter into no talk with any human being. At length she brought the babe to her people, carrying him in her arms. They said, "O Mary, truly a strange thing hast thou brought." So that's interesting that we see kind of, this wasn't the theme that I was talking about, but it does go along with the theme. How both miracle children, Allah said to not, to not speak, really to not speak about too much of the ongoings of this, which is interesting. They either take a vow of silence or have been forcibly not allowed to speak. But yes, it is not. Okay, this is, I think, along with the theme right here. This verse right here. And it's ironic how it's spoken right after the story of Mary. So, it is not befitting to the majesty of Allah that he should beget a son. Glory be to him. When he determines a matter, he only says to it, "Be," and it is. Yes. So I will, I think, elaborate on this in a second. Also mentioned in the book the story of Abraham. He was a man of truth, a prophet. "Behold," he said to his father, and this he's talking to his actual father, Abraham's father. "O my father, why worship that which heareth not and seeth not, and can profit thee nothing?" The father replied, "Dost thou hate my gods, O Abraham? If thou forbear not, I will indeed stone thee. Now get away from me for a good long while." When he had turned away from them, and from those whom they worshipped besides Allah, we bestowed on him Isaac and Jacob. In each one of them we made a prophet. Also mentioned in the book the story of Moses, for he was specially chosen, and he was a messenger and a prophet. And we called to him from the right side of Mount Sinai, and made him draw near to us for mystic converse. So that was with the Ten Commandments, right? Also mentioned in the book the case of Idris. He was a man of truth and sincerity, and a prophet, and we raised him to a lofty station. Those were some of the prophets on whom Allah did bestow his grace, of the posterity of Adam, and those whom we carried in the ark with Noah, and the posterity of Abraham and Israel, of those whom we guided and chose. Whenever the signs of Allah, most gracious, were rehearsed to them, they would fall down in prostration, they would fall down in prostrate adoration and tears. And just so we are all clear on prostrate, I think I know I looked this up before, but I'm pretty sure it just means to bow down. And it's funny, there's actually there's no definition? Yeah, it just means lying stretched out on the ground with one's face downward. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start the second part here. I'm sorry. Just going ahead and catching a typo before it comes across. Okay. Section 5. And Allah doth advance in guidance those who seek guidance, and the things that endure good deeds are the best in the sight of thy Lord, as rewards and best in respect of their eventual returns. Eventual returns. They say, Allah, most gracious, has begotten a son. Indeed, ye have put forth a thing most monstrous. For it is not consonant with the majesty of Allah, most gracious, that he should beget a son. None of the beings in the heavens and earth but must come to Allah. Not one of the beings in the heavens and the earth but must come to Allah, most gracious, as a servant. He does take account of them all, and hath numbered them all exactly. And every one of them will come to him singly on the day of judgment. But how many countless generations before them have we destroyed? Canst thou find a single one of them now, or hear so much as a whisper of them? And so this is like a really big point. And I think this is probably the main issue of conflict between the Catholic or Christian and Muslim faith, is the fact that it's very clear in this book that Allah does not call Jesus his son. Jesus is mentioned quite a few times in the Bible, but it's not labeled as, oh yes, like this is my son, this is my only son, what have you. This is never mentioned, and it makes sense reading all of the other parts of the books in context because of the amount of times other prophets are mentioned and other prophets are talked about, and we have these miracle children, blessed upon families that are barren or what have you. Why aren't those his sons, right? Why, isn't everybody, like, in a way, it's like we are all God's children one way or another. Why is Jesus seen as like, okay, his actual flesh and blood? It doesn't really make sense when you come to think about it. So I think that is the main thing, and it's not to drive a wedge between the Christian faith and what Muslims believe, but it's very clear here, and it's very clear that turning to Jesus in an act of worship in place of God is kind of blasphemous, and saying that he is the son and pray to him and ask him for things and things like that, it just almost defeats the purpose of like, okay, well, where's the God? You have to pray to God first and put him first and foremost before anything. Jesus, again, like stated here, is just a prophet. He's just a person. He was chosen. Yes, he's very important, and he healed a lot of people. I think that kind of set him on a pedestal, especially within Christianity, was his acts and was the fact that he performed miracles and healing and things like that. But that doesn't go without saying that they should not be held on the same thing. It's just simple when thought about. So let's go ahead and continue to Surah 20, which is Taha. And Taha means to stand firm. There was no translation in the book, so I did look it up. Taha means to stand firm. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Taha. We have not sent down the Qur'an to thee to be an occasion for thy distress. Really good point. Like, this is not, I don't read this to you to freak people out. I don't read this to you to make you sad or whatever. This should be uplifting, and it should be knowledge bearing, and it should give you hope and guidance for the future and for your present lives. So let's go ahead and continue, but only as admonition to those who fear Allah. And if anything, it shouldn't cause you distress, but it should put that little piece of fear of God in you, like it does with me. And it really should make you just maybe start to question things and think about day-to-day life and what it's bringing you. And of course, it should be bringing you closer to Allah. So that's really good. But really, the hour is coming. My design is to keep it hidden, for every soul to receive its reward by the measure of its endeavor. All faces shall be humbled before him, the living, the self-subsisting, eternal. Hopeless indeed will be the man that carries iniquity on his back. But he who works deeds of righteousness and has faith will have no fear of harm nor any curtailment of what is due. High above is Allah, the King, the Truth. Be not in haste with the Qur'an before its revelation to thee is completed. But say, O my Lord, advance me in knowledge. We have already beforehand taken the covenant of Adam, but he forgot, and we found on his part no firm resolve. So that part is interesting, and I want to be able to elaborate on it, but I don't think I have all of the tools or knowledge necessary to elaborate on what that covenant with Adam was and the fact that there was no resolution with that. But that's nice. Be not in haste with the Quran before its revelation to thee is completed. But God is saying, oh my Lord, or you can say, right? Oh my Lord, advance me in knowledge. By listening to these words now and taking your time out of your day to pay attention and to take note, you are allowed to ask the Lord to enlighten you, to open your eyes, to give you more knowledge. Because you don't want to be in the group with the deaf and the blind who just ignores and doesn't pay attention and just goes through life without any sort of awakening. We really want to trigger that awakening within all of you. So that's really good. Ask now, oh my Lord, advance me in knowledge. Yes, yes, good, good, good. Therefore, be patient. Oh, here we go. This is husband. Hold on 1 second. Let me just tell him 1 second. Hey, baby. Can I call you back in 2 seconds? Hi. Let me call you back. Let me call you back in 2 seconds. I'm almost done with my reading.
Okay.
2 seconds. All right. Okay. My apologies. Ian Caribbean. Okay, so let's continue with therefore. Be patient with what they say, and celebrate constantly on the praises of thy Lord, before the rising of the sun, and before its setting. Yeah, celebrate them for the part of the hours of the night and sides of the day, that thou mayest have spiritual joy. So this right here, going along with, O Lord, increase my knowledge, this is also a really good way to establish that constant connection. And that's why it's so great, like even if you are Christian or Catholic, to pray multiple times a day, all hours of the day, wherever you are at, take that time to pray, because it establishes that like unbinding awesomeness. You always want to be tethered and connected with God in any way that you can. And it really does instill a certain amount of joy that you wouldn't otherwise have. Like it's very different. It's a very different experience. And it says this will establish the spiritual joy. And the spiritual joy is not like contentment. It's not like happiness. Spiritual joy is really gets you going in every walk of life. Like it always motivates something different and something exciting and something new. So that's what we all want to go after. After reading this, and hopefully after finishing the Quran, I'll be on here sharing more little tidbits, but I hope we can all establish that spiritual joy. Okay. Say, each one of us is waiting. Wait ye therefore, and soon you shall know who it is that is on the straight and even way, and who it is that has received guidance. That's nice. Okay, so let's go on to Surah 21. It's not too long. We're just going to finish this up, and then we're going to end the night with some rest. Okay, so this is all Anbiya, which is the prophets. So, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, say, my Lord knoweth every word spoken in the heavens and earth. He is the one that heareth and knoweth all things. Nay, they say, these are medleys of dreams. Nay, he forged it. Nay, he is but a poet. Let him then bring us a sign like the ones we were sent to the prophets of old. As to those before them, not one of the populations which we destroyed believed. Will these believe? And this is to goes to say, the signs that we see day in and day out, we may not notice because they're taken for granted. They are little beauties, little signs. It could be a nice bird or a butterfly or something that lets you know that you're on the right path or something's trying to get your attention. Yes, if we really wanted a sign, which like the people that are saying, we wouldn't want the sign because the only sign that can then come is just something of mass destruction. And that goes to say, maybe we've kind of had that already. I mean, we just went through a major pandemic. So if that wasn't maybe a little bit of a warning, I don't know if we want what the next sign would be. So that's what they're trying to say here. Yes, nobody survived the people of the last sign because they didn't believe. And even if they did, like we did survive this pandemic, like, or did that change our faith in any way? Or did it just kind of like, oh, that was unrelated? So, yes. And they say, Allah, most gracious, has begotten offspring. Glory to Him. They are, they are but servants raised to honor. So, like I said, Jesus was a man, a spiritual guided man, but he is on the level of a servant of thy Lord, which he said that in the Bible. He said, I am but a servant. I don't even know, like, I really have to do some digging and see, like, where this idea and this notion of God, Jesus being the Son, came in. There is a chance that Jesus may have said it himself metaphorically, because we know that he spoke in a lot of parables and a lot of metaphors. So there's potential that that is there. But I really, again, have to do some digging and go ahead and pull it up for you guys. But yeah, it's saying quite clearly here, that he's just a servant. Like, please do not call upon Jesus for your every wish. Do not call upon him for anything. Go to God first and foremost. You know, Jesus is but a servant. And yes, he does things, but we're gonna, for now, okay? They are but servants raised to honor. They speak, not before he speaks. They act in all things by his command. And again, remember Zechariah when he cried to his Lord, O my Lord, leave me not without offspring, though thou art the best of inheritors. So we listened to him, and we granted him Yahya. We cured his wife's barrenness for him. These three were ever quick in ambulation and in good works. We'll let that be. I think there's another word, but I'm going to let it be. They used to call on us with love and reverence, and humble themselves before us. And remember who guarded her chastity. We breathed into her of our spirit, and we made her a son, a sign for all peoples. So with these, it's like they're comparing the two, right? He's like, God is saying, okay, there was this miracle child and there was this miracle child. They're both miracles, so like one really shouldn't be held above the other. Although Jesus did do a lot, right? But when you look at like the historical context of things, it's like they came about the world in the same way. So, and whoever works any act of righteousness and has faith, his endeavor will not be rejected. We shall record it in his favor. Say, O my Lord, judge thou in truth. Our Lord, most gracious, is the one whose assistance should be sought against the blasphemies ye utter. Amen to that. So that kind of sums it up. Pretty much all of those books that I just went over today, that sums it up perfectly. Um, the one whose assistance should be sought against the blasphemies ye utter. So, like I've been saying, seek God first. Focus on God. Focus on your relationship with God first. And only. Like, that should really be the only person you shall need to ever go to and pray to. And your prayers will be answered. You establish that relationship with them, with Him. Keep it going and keep it strong. And you will get everything that you're planning and then not planning, because there's a lot that you don't know. But yes, I'm gonna digress from here. I'm gonna go talk to my husband and get some rest, and I will finish this soon. So what are we on? We're on 21, so we have 8 more books left. We have Surah 22 through 29. So we're going to go ahead and finish those. Once we get to 29, that's it. We've covered all of the summaries of all of the books, and that will be a great and exciting day. So I hope you all join me then as well. God bless you. Have a good night and sleep tight. Bye-bye.